All right. Sorry, I heard the last thing you said, but welcome to Speakeasy News. I'm
Welcome.
Shannon,
Clutch.
and we are now live, so I'll turn this down a little bit.
Turn this fan off. Can you hear me pretty good?
I can hear you fine.
Sweet.
So, April Wine's come into play where in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I haven't seen them play before, but I know.
Me neither. I've never. It's going to be
awesome. Go?
Yeah, I think I am going to go. It's in April.
Well, it might still be kind of cold out in April, wouldn't it?
Not really. Not here, no.
Okay.
April is like the start of spring for us. April, everything's pretty much melting, but it's all wet and dirty. It sucks. And then, May is pretty warm. Then June's like summer.
Did you, or is it an outdoor concert, or do you?
No. It's at like this place that holds about 5,000 people. It's like it's a pretty famous theater in Winnipeg. It's called I'll say I'm near Winnipeg. It's called the Burton Cumming. It used to be called the Walker Theater, but they changed it to Burton Cumming because he's the lead singer of the Guess Who, which is another Winnipeg band that is really famous. You probably know of. American Woman.
I have. Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah.
I hate that song, but yeah.
I was gonna say
I met that dude one time, eh? It's weird. I met Burton Cummings. I was a gas jockey at the time, like long ago. It was late at night. I was working the overnight shift, and he came up in an SUV. And I looked at him like, "Hey, are you who I think you are?" And he said, "Yeah, I am." And then I was like, "Oh, cool. Could you sign this?" And I don't know why I did that because I don't even collect autographs, and I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. And and he did, and then he left. He paid for his gas and left.
Cool
That was it. It was like totally like the most mellow thing that ever happened.
Wow.
There's no, yeah.
Well, working over in Nevada and Reno, Reno's not as big as Vegas. I'm not trying to say that, but you've also got Lake Tahoe. Rod Stewart goes up there. I mean, we saw Boss Skaggs up in Tahoe, and
that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, dude, we had great seats, like 10 feet from the stage, and you know, Boss Skaggs is kind of for an older generation, and
Yeah.
It's not a rock concert. That's all I'm gonna say. But that's what we liked about it. I mean, everybody was there. Some people stood up in the aisles and was just kind of like dancing around, real chill, holding their drink. It was great. And Bobby's got stories of people he's seen in Vegas because in Lake Tahoe, because he worked out there for a few years at the casinos, like when it was Caesars.
Yeah.
And he actually had a guy walk up with this, with his daughter, and he asked, Bobby was kind of like, guarding the showroom, and the guy asked if he could, show his daughter in that showroom, and Bobby recognized him as, who was it? I'm sorry, I forgot the name.
Cool story, bro.
The one that brought his daughter to see that showroom that you were guarding. Mickey Thomas.
Oh.
And Bobby even told him, he's like, "You're Mickey Thomas." And the guy was like really cool about it. And Bobby had his supervisor get involved, and they allowed him to go and take pictures or something like that. Or they were allowed to see it, but technically nobody was supposed to be able to go in. But since he had performed in there in the past, wanted to show his daughter something.
Of course he did. Yeah. That reminds me of two things. Like out here, there's a place called Lake of the Woods. It's like just a province over, but like very close to not where we are physically, but to our province. And that's where there's tons of islands there and lots of rich people especially movie
nice.
stars, buy islands and cabins out there, and there is a lot of fly in or just boating in from the mainland, and yeah, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of like Kurt Russell has a place there. It's a big deal if he's out there. Oh, it's Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, you were talking about that concert, how chill it was, and it made me think of there's this festival out here called the Folk Festival, and it's like 4 days in the summer, and people from everywhere, like people from Texas, across Canada, like all over the United States, everywhere. There's people from everywhere. Usually like, I don't know, 40, 50,000 people at that event.
Damn.
Yeah. And you camp there. There's 2 camping. One is for families, and then the other one's like this wild, almost like Burning Man kind of thing, like where the people build these crazy buildings and just a big party. But the music is like, it's like bands you might have heard of, but it's all like, it's folky music, it's country music, not country, but like kind of like bluesgrass, stuff like that. Sometimes there's a rock group. Like it's just weird, different styles of music. And there's like 3 or 4 stages going at once. Then there's like a beer garden and like a place you could buy crap or whatever. And there's all this food there. It's a really cool place. We've been a few times, and it's a cool experience, but it's very much how you were describing, where it's like the crowd's very chilled. It's a very, very hippie-ish, mellow crowd.
Well, yeah, the generations, mellowed out.
There's old people there though, but there's young people there too, dude. Like every age. There's like little kids. There's old people. But everyone's just chill. It's awesome.
Well, that's like Joe's joined us, by the way. Joe Morgan. He's always in our chat. All we need now is Big Pig. But
I hope Fiverr shows up. No, because I want to talk to him about that. What we were talking about. We'll get to it.
So hopefully they got the notification. But yeah, we've only ever really gone to like a couple concerts, but in Lake Tahoe it's pretty nice because you do have the outdoor option. They have a casino out there now called Harvey's, and they've got a huge venue out back where you can overlook the lake, and all those things are so much fun. But have you seen, I don't know if you guys get much news from like stuff that happens in the West Coast, but the last Burning Man that they had in Nevada, did you see what happened there?
I did see some, they got stranded there or something. I can't really remember. It was a bit crazy.
Dead, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody was muddy and they were just slogged down. It was kind of scary looking. I was just, and it's messy enough when those people come in from the desert and it's dry. I can't even imagine having all that stuff just crusted on you, your car. I hated
the desert. When I was in Vegas, I got a dry throat. My nose was burnt. Like it was just, and it wasn't even like a suntan. Like that wasn't, it was just the dryness of it. I'd never been in such a dry environment, and it's dry here. Like, especially in the winter, it's almost like a desert. It could be very dry here, but, that was a different level. It was just the heat and the dry. It was like being in a sauna 24/7.
That's right. And when the breeze picks up, it's not a cool breeze. It's like opening an oven and having a fan blow it all on you. So it
was 110 at 10 in the morning. It's like, what the like, this is crazy. Like, at least here, it takes it warms up during the day, but like, geez.
Now you know why now you know why we left that place. But
I couldn't live there. I could not ever live there.
I couldn't either.
No, it was horrible.
Joe says he was watching a video. I missed a bit back about Burning Man this year. I saw the online world blow gasket over the rain, yet everything I saw, these dirty hippies had a great time. Oh my God, dirty hippies is the perfect description.
That's what they it's pretty hedonistic there.
Yeah. And Fiber Oats did join
Hey, buddy.
One of the many reasons I don't jump on the fear bandwagon, most of these people come prepared. Fiber Oat says, hello, Clutch. He says hi to Joe. Joe said hi to them. It's good to hear nice people's voices.
Right on.
What's he talking about?
So this is what we were talking about this morning, and it kind of got me to, like, we've talked about this before, but I think there's something really here. Okay, so how do I explain it really? People who seem to be able to see through the horse shit of life, the government, the lies, the media, manipulation, all that, they seem to have a common trait. And it seems that they've all had like trauma. Now, you could say everybody's had trauma in their lives, but I think it's something a little bit different than just like it's like you've been traumatized. And I wonder if it's that is helping us see through it. Is it that breaks the spell? Is it God that opens your eyes, gives you eyes to hear, eyes to see and ears to hear? What is it exactly? Like, someone might even counter that by saying, well, you've been traumatized, so you're seeing the world through a paranoid view. And
what do you mean by trauma? Like on a personal level or financial level or any or
well,
all?
it could be any or all. I'm not saying that there's a specific type of trauma, or I haven't been able to identify that. But it seems that, look at the people always in the chat that we find. I don't want to call them broken people, but they've been through something. It's something that's changed them dramatically. Usually I find it's something in the childhood that developed their character, but sometimes it's a little later in life. But I could think of any of the people we've talked to in the last year, and they've had some sort of trauma. I'm saying would you disagree with that, or?
No. In fact, Joe just said, "Oh, I'm broken." I mean, this is what I feel like is that when you raise a child, I mean, or when we were raised, every young child has a little perfect world, a la la land, and a parent will either foster that and possibly cause harm to them later by thinking that they're giving their child a better childhood than they had. You know what I mean? Like you ever hear about the parents who were beaten when they were kids, and they swore never to beat their kids, and then they raised kids that were never disciplined, something like that. And you asked, is it just the trauma that happens in life, or is it God? I asked, when you were saying that, if maybe it was both. Maybe sometime God imparts certain traumatic events into your life that helps.
That would negate free will, though, wouldn't it?
What's that?
Would that negate free will?
I don't think it would negate it, because it depends on how the child deals.
No. You said, well, you're saying that God might put these specific obstacles in our path. So, like, it's almost a fate then.
Almost, but I think it also depends on the person and how they react to it. I mean, some people just break down. Some people are in denial. Others. So it's like a test from God in a way to see if we will wake up or crack. Testing is the perfect word. I think testing is the perfect word, because, I mean, what happens to people that don't properly deal with it? They marry somebody that helps facilitate this. They're in denial that they've married somebody who constantly cheats on them or has a gambling problem, and they just will not, and they can't handle stress, and they end up on anxiety pills. And it's just like, I don't know, sometimes you see people, I mean, especially on social media and TV, look at these reality shows. I mean, none of that is real. And these people that are on these shows that are like getting dramatic over dumb shit. I mean, you're like, what is this person's problem? Do you see what I'm saying?
Those are the sheep. those are the ones who haven't like,
Exactly.
yeah, like, cause I've noticed, like, I've had friends who, I don't want to say they never had anything happen to them in their lives, but for the most part, their lives have been pretty good. Their parents have money, or not rich, but they're not hurting. There's no like drama in their lives. They don't get beaten. They have like go on vacations. Everything's good. They go to school, they graduate, blah, blah, blah. Those are the people that I don't know if I know one of them that sees through it. Now that's like, I think that's weird. So are the people who had the trauma, are we seeing the world through a paranoid lens? And just because we are doesn't mean they're not watching.
I have my opinion on the paranoia. I mean, like by the way, Arwen's
I would just say that's a counter to my argument. I'm trying to counter my own argument just so I could think it through.
You're playing your own devil's advocate.
Exactly.
Let's see. Fibro said he personally always felt different. Joe says life experiences shape how we view the world around us. Arwen says hello.
Oh, hey, Arwen.
Yeah, we know that guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yes. Joe says soft people never get to have hard times and grow from it. As far as the paranoia, I personally feel like it's something that could be contagious. First of all, that's how you fear porn groups of people, right? You kind of create a paranoia, you scare them a little bit. Another thing is I've seen like the paranoia come from just people that oh shit, how can I explain this? People that have something to worry about start stacking on that. You know, it's kind of like an insecurity. People that are very secure with themselves and confident with themselves don't usually start worrying about, oh my God, you know, did that car just drive by earlier, or is the government doing this? And you know,
when I said that though, like I don't mean specifically paranoid, like paranoid. It's just.
What did you mean?
They're saying that we're looking through it because we've been through trauma. Then we don't see things clearly. That would be the counter. That's why we see conspiracies here or there. I don't want to like just get hung up on paranoia per se.
Oh, okay.
But
I was
does that make sense?
Of seeing 666 and everything, or
kind of like that, but
Bobby. Sorry, did I cut you off?
No. No. Kind of like that. It's I don't know. I don't know what it is. Are we seeing it wrong, or are we seeing it true? I think we're seeing it true. Like, I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think that most of the people I associate with or talk to, especially about these subjects, are wrong. They seem reasonable, logical, coherent.
People, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think that generally people become more receptive about what they could be learning after being humbled a little bit. I mean, I kind of feel like the younger we are, you know, youth brings on our own little arrogance that we know everything. But then at the same time, you talked about the trauma. Sometimes that trauma that happens to people young at life, you know, at an early stage, tend to kind of open their eyes a little sooner. And then they're ready to start, okay, maybe I shouldn't judge this too quickly and ask questions. And you know what I mean? Sometimes the trauma can come from family or... But
if that breaks the spell, and I don't know what else to call it, because like the media and all of it, it's like a spell. It really is. Like, people are brainwashed. If that's what breaks the spell and allows us to see through it, then wouldn't they want us not to be traumatized? Wouldn't they promote good families and try to keep us all? Why are they promoting degeneracy? Do you know what I'm saying?
You mean the government?
They in general, yeah, government, media. like all of it. They don't promote a healthy family, nuclear family. They promote like gay families or mixed families or get divorced, or they're not promoting a strong family unit.
They don't.
So if that's what's breaking the spell, then why would they? You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's the effect that they're going for. I think they're not trying to break any spell. They're trying to create a normalcy out of that. They're acclimating.
See it? They must realize that people are wake up and are waking up, and they might want to know why those people are.
And they don't like it though. Those are the people that get shut down. They have their channel shut off mid-sentence and shit, you know?
Yes, I do.
And that's I think a lot of times what they're trying to create, okay, are basically mindless sheep, and we've kind of kicked that dead horse. But I think that the people that are a little more open and trying to get truth and put truth out there are just more not rebels, but the problem children to the institutions that are trying to create.
But why? That's the thing I want. If we could figure out why, you could wake up everyone. That's what I'm saying. If you knew the why, what's happening that's allowing us to be awake to it. If it is the trauma, like, I don't think it is just that, because like wasn't MK Ultra, isn't that about all traumatizing people and creating alters in their mind, like separating their mind? So trauma could right. So trauma isn't really like, why did we experience trauma and wake up from it and not like go down the road of drugs or be bums or have our minds splintered? Like, what is it? What is different from us? What is it that...
I think about it like the military, dude. Okay. This is the first thing that comes to my mind. You go through in basic training, there's a lot of people that go through the basic training that don't actually make it through. Okay. I mean, I remember a girl that like second weekend, she couldn't stand to walk into the chow hall because she knew all the instructors would be standing inside at the doorway. They always stood in the doorway and just screamed their shit at you. Before you grab your plate and go grab your food, you sit down, and then there's more instructors walking around the table screaming at you while you're eating. It was so stressful for some people that mentally she just kind of like, she sat in the dormitory and she refused to leave it. And they were like, you know, everybody else was like, you got to eat. And she's like, I don't want to eat. And she just wouldn't. And they phased her out. They medically discharged her. Right. And it happens often. You know, I want to say like 15 to 20% of these people that go into basic training. Okay, I'm getting out in the weeds here. So that's the mental breakdown, right? That's the breaking point, the chaos, and then after that they break you down, and then they start to build you into what they want, to conform, to follow orders. And the ones that I guess perform the best become the leaders of it. You know, they make rank later on. They stay in the military. They can commission as an officer later. Things like that. The ones that don't, I have to say, are probably the lucky ones, because I mean, I would say that they are no longer owned by the government if they can't find a way to conform after that chaos, after that trauma.
What is it that stops them from conforming? That's what I'm after.
That's a good one. I can only speak
is it just God? Is
experience, but that's funny because you just asked if it was God, and I was saying I can only speak from my personal experience, which was when I came to God. I mean, like at the very last few months of my enlistment is when I came to God, and I was like, never again. I'm getting out, and glad I joined the military. Never gonna do that shit again. That's just it. I don't know.
I get hung up on like why some of us do wake up and why some of us don't.
And are you?
It's like they live. Why do we have the glasses and they don't? I just don't get it. I want to know. I want to know why.
Are you also wondering if it's part of God's plan or if it's individualistic?
That's a mindset of Christianity. It might be Calvinism, but I could be wrong on that, or it might be predetermination. I can't remember. I get them all confused. But where God chooses certain people, and I can't abide by that. Like I don't think that would be fair or make any logical sense. So it has to be something that we choose. But why? What is it? Oh, is that me? Feedback?
Yeah, that's what you said. Why?
Why? It sounds all creepy, Holden.
Let's hear from the chat real quick because they've said some things and I just noticed we're missing some comments. So Fiber Oats said, and there's basic understanding of the importance of the real truth and admitting if a person doesn't really know the truth about things yet. Joe says, if you live long enough and watch your heroes turn into life's villains, because the degeneracy breeds soft people unwilling to take up arms. That's a good, strong statement. Fiber, yeah. If I was actually at school, I was in the principal's office. Oh, because Fiber Oats asked him if we skipped school. He said he adored school when I was really young. Fiber Oats said, in high school, I would just stand up and walk out of class, right out of the door. Joe said,
I did the same thing. I just left.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't care. What are you going to do?
I never showed up. I just, I remember actually going back to school one time and the teacher was like, I thought you dropped out. Didn't know you were still enrolled.
The only reason I would go to school in high school was I wanted to hang out with people.
Yeah. I think a friend of mine was like, they don't know where you're at and they're saying you're not going to graduate. And that kind of scared me. And I was like, well, I better go back to school. And then when I went back, some of the teachers were like, are you still legally enrolled? I was like,
were malls a thing? Like, was hanging out at the mall cool when you were growing up?
We didn't go to the mall. My buddy Jake and I, we went to the Navy base nearby. We were both Navy brats. And they had a bowling alley there with pool tables and video games. So that's where we hung out.
Yeah. So we hung out at the mall. We thought we were cool.
That was, you go to Claire's and Spencer's Gifts. Joe says that he thinks the mind-altering drugs, hard experiences, and all the life happens kind of showed me how things work.
He's on to something there because I don't want to. I want to be careful. What do I admit? But I might have experienced psychoactive substances in my life. I might have come across them, and although I regret taking it now because I think it rewires your brain, I think it was that rewiring that helped me see through the horse shit.
Yeah.
It was like a spiritual thing at times. Like I didn't, for the most part, I didn't really do it as a party thing. A few times we did, like where we were hanging out and like, hey, let's do that. But a lot of times my experiences were just like on my own, just like, hey, I want to see stuff like that, like weird.
Well,
and I think it changed me.
Party thing or a bad thing. I mean, the Native Americans, they smoked the peyote as part of the journey to, finding their meaning in life and things like that, don't they?
Yeah, South America, they did ayahuasca.
Right.
Yeah. And that,
oh, go ahead.
Thinking of, just before you give me that message, I just think about how wild it is that they figured out, that juice they make basically extracts the DMT from the plant. How did those jungle people learn this advanced chemistry, really.
Trial and error. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think I know, but go ahead. Tell me what Fibro said.
Oh, Fiber says, I'm convinced that some of us are just plain meant to wake up. Joe said he stopped asking questions that don't have answers a long time ago. They're talking about school a little bit. They try to stop me. I mostly ditched to do a bong hits and drink 40s before my shift. Joe Morgan. Arwen has a couple comments. Said, mind-altering drugs. What's that?
I want to hear. Yeah.
Okay. Said, mind-altering drugs only force upon us the psychoactivity that naturally takes place in a more controlled fashion in response to events in your life.
That's a lot to unpack.
Joe said, I didn't do it to open my mind. I just really enjoyed getting wrecked. Okay. Arwen's last comment said, ayahuasca happens to a degree in dreams. Lucid dreams are the ultimate expression of it.
That he's right. We produce it in our minds, and they say at birth and at death, our mind releases tons of it.
That's why our life flashes before our eyes.
Yeah. It's like, and it's the most heavy, like, psychoactive that I've heard of. I have a book called The Spirit Molecule, and it's all about these scientists who they made it into like a pure liquid form, and they were like testing it on people, and the people all had kind of very similar experiences. They did it intravenously, which is crazy. And like they would have good experiences and bad, but they were always similar in nature. A lot of geometric patterns. They meet like a spirit guide there. A lot of times it's the elves, or like, yeah, it was pretty creepy. An interesting read for anybody who wants to learn about it.
Well, and Arwen says you have to be extremely careful with it. I think that
I would not do it.
Yeah, with a lot of things like that they test on people or that are tried, I just don't think that
any of my experiences were
people ever.
Well, no, they were. That's what I'm saying. The experiences were like almost identical. Like they're going to the same place. It's not like acid. It's not like acid or mushrooms where you're like just seeing visuals and you get weird feelings and things mean stuff that shouldn't mean any. You see significance in things. It's nothing like that. I know I haven't taken it, but from what I've read and heard, you're going to a different realm. Like you're not even in your body anymore. You're gone.
Dude, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you have, I'm not even kidding, dude. Like this is like beyond.
Something else. Okay, so there's comments going back and forth that you take it like a holy ritual where God will challenge you beyond your capacity. Fiber says it feels like I wouldn't, quote, come back from a DMT trip.
I'm exactly with him. That's the same fear I have. And like any kind of psychoactive substance that I might have encountered was done as a young man when I had, maybe you might say courage or just a lot more stupidity. Like I didn't think, I just didn't think about what I was doing, but, so I experienced it. But now I think I would be way too scared to do it. Way too scared. Like I couldn't do any of them. If it was just like normal psychoactives, I'd freak out and like think about a mortgage and fucking lose my mind. But DMT, that's like I said, it's a whole other realm. Like you're gonna meet God. That's what they say. Like you meeting God.
You have to try when you're younger and have less to lose. I just think a lot of older people tend to start weighing the options of,
There's places in South America where you can go now. It's like you have to be careful which one you pick, but they will bring you through it, and you'll do it multiple times. A lot of people who are alcoholics, heroin addicts, they go there to do that, and they're clean after. They're done.
That's
They
wild.
they never drink again. They never do heroin again. It's a huge thing. Like, it's a big industry. Some people just go for the actual experience, to wake up, I guess. That famous comedian Ron White, he recently did it, and he went from being a smoking, drinking alcoholic to now look at him. He's not at all anymore. Doesn't drink. Yeah, dude.
Always
It's like
has a
he completely
cigar in his
changed him.
hand, and he's always sipping bourbon.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane. I have a hard time. I feel like I was so sheltered or something. Something's wrong with me. I've never done any kind of drugs except
That blows my mind.
no, I'm a serious dude.
But you would never have got into. Be careful what you say. Well, you didn't do anything.
No, I
but,
can. I can totally admit everything. It's that clean. I mean, I think I
that's
drank.
probably why you got into intelligence. Like,
Yeah, it was easy for me. I don't know why. I never got around to it or something. But I drank alcohol for the first time when I was 20, and I was supposed to be 21. But I mean, it was Jose Cuervo, and I got insanely drunk. I got drunk a few times after that, especially in the military. Having fun. I smoked for a little while when I was in the military, and I quit when I got out because my father.
I have a question for you. Do you feel that you were like, okay, you said you came to God while at the end of your military career. Now, do you feel like in your teenage years, your kid years, your early teens or early 20s, whatever, before you came to God, do you feel like you were one of the sheep? Like, do you think that you were asleep?
Oh,
Did you wake?
Not at the time.
No. I mean, in retrospect.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally, and I believed in the, I'm gonna join the military and fight for my country because it's honorable, and just things like that. And I believed everything on the news. If if CNN said it, it's got to be true. And then yeah.
For me, it was like
I followed along. I took my flu shots. I did all of that. I did everything a good little girl should do.
For me, it was a progression. Like, I always, I from as early memories I have, I smelt bullshit, but
really,
I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't never know to the extent. Like, there's times when I did believe politics were real. There was times when I did believe what I heard on the news was real, but I kind of like grew through it. Like, it's a steady progression for me. Like, it wasn't just one day I woke up. For me, it's been a steady progression the whole time. But since I was little, my earliest memories, I read the Bible. I had someone read the Bible to me. I went to church. Like, dude, I had pictures of Jesus on my wall, like posters. Wow. I was going to be a priest. That was my goal. That right from the very start. I never told you that. That was my goal. I told everybody I'm going to be a priest. That was my goal.
Wow.
And when my parents divorced, that's when, and then a whole bunch of stuff happens, trauma, blah, blah, blah. Some of it. I don't want to talk about it all now. But as I go through all that, my view of God changes for a while, and I actually get angry, and I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to be your priest. Like, I would never do that. I'd never serve you like that.
Yeah.
So I lost the love for that for a long time because I blamed God for a long time. I blamed God for everything. And then it took me a while to realize, like, it's not God. God didn't do these things. People do these things, and people have choices. And that's not God's fault.
Let me fix something. I don't want you to think that before the end of my military career that I changed all that because of God. Okay. I believed everything. I went into the military. I took all the shots that they required me to take. just all the things I was supposed to do during my work in the military. And I have to be careful what I say, because there are some things that, I'm not in the military anymore. They can't hold me against for the classified information, but I don't want to say too much, but I started to see things, and part of the missions that I was helping to work with in the intelligence community, that I started thinking, why are we doing this? That is not the enemy. Why are we doing that? That's not part of the war. You see what I'm saying? Like, it slowly started creeping on us, especially during the deployment when we were over there. And I was like, what the hell? Why are we bombing our own shit? Things started creeping into my mind. Like, this isn't.
That's more what woke you up too.
Slowly, yeah. And it was like, okay. And then, of course, I quite literally came to Jesus at the end. And then after I got out of the military, we started seeing more on the pharmaceutical side. And I won't say anything more about that, but I will say it was because my son's father started having serious kidney problems. And then we started to realize, it was because he was diabetic before that. And now how did all these medicines make him worse and not better? Well, then it started to wake us up a little more. I married my husband, Bobby, and that's when he was the one that was already.
Bobby really was. Yeah, he was already aware.
He had the information that kind of answered the questions that started arising
in
my mind.
What woke him up? That's a question I've never asked. What woke Bobby up?
I don't know.
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting. Like, when did he wake up? What was his series of events?
I will ask him, but he will never come on here and talk about it.
It's not his forte, even if you just Skype me the information, like one day, I would just be interested if he's willing to share that. Yeah. Like, I'm just interested to know for my own personal.
I think I want to say that he has mentioned that he started realizing a lot of this stuff sometime around 2003 or something. But I'll ask him. And I'll let you know what really.
That was a big, like, right after the job application, their 7-Eleven job application. Right after that, it seems like tons of people started waking up. And then again around 2012. I don't know what it was about 2012 exactly, but that seems to be.
Calendar wasn't true.
Yeah, it wasn't true. No. Or we're in a different. No, well, who knows? Maybe it is true, and we don't know the real date yet.
Yeah. Gosh, I just realized chat's been going on. A lot of stuff is said, and
All right, go ahead.
It goes way back. Okay, so I don't know how far back we've missed, but let's see. Arwen says I'm sort of a priest, but I'm not laughing at you, Arwen. It's just I never mind. I'm sort of a priest, but it originated in Wicca.
Interesting.
Capitalize the I. So it then turned into eclectic Christianity, which would not be recognized as Christianity by Christians. Well, it's a good thing.
I'm in the same boat as him. I would not be considered a Christian by my beliefs. I'm not. Either. No, you are.
I've seen Christians act. I don't want to be pulled in that whole.
No, but like just, maybe for lack of a better term, doctrine-wise, like you believe, and I don't want to put any words in your mouth, but from what I understand, you believe the way that Jesus died for your sins, right? And that he's the only way to God. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. And that I don't believe that.
Okay.
I believe that he came to teach us how to commune with God. He said, call no man father. We are our own priests. Arwen's right about that as well. We are our own priests. And some of us are really shitty at it. And some of us are. Like we treat ourselves poorly. But that was his mission. And I'm still like, and I'm still stuck on this whole idea. Like, if I forgive you, but I charge you, I'll say, I forgive you. You broke my lamp. I forgive you, but give me $20. That I didn't forgive you. If I say, hey, you did this crime, and I'll forgive you, but first I got to kill my son. Where's the mercy in that? Where's the justice in that? It's unjust to kill an innocent person. That's injustice. Why would God create injustice? Why would he kill an innocent man for the sake of others? That's injustice. He wouldn't do it. So I cannot anymore at this point get on board that was why Jesus came. They killed him, and he probably could have done something to stop it, but he's showing us a better way.
Right.
And he taught us how to commune with God and how to live and what laws were important. That's what I think. But I can't make any claims and say I know this for 100%. This is my experience, and this is what I've come to understand. And you could possibly be right, and I'm way off. But yeah, I'm just saying.
No, I hear.
But anyway,
I've heard you say it before. No, I think of it a little differently in the process, like the broken lamp. You know, if I broke your lamp and you forgive me, and you know,
but I got to kick Bobby in the balls. That's the only way I forgive you.
No, but I came to you and said, you know, look, I want to give you the money for the lamp. I want to give it to you. I want to make it up to you. I want to pay the price for it. That's kind of how I feel about it.
No, you can't.
Poor Fiber Oats is asking what is 7-Eleven.
Oh, what happened in September? What happened in September of that year, Fiber?
Yeah. The whole you touched on it.
I just want to say key words
about the Iraq War and stuff. Fiber made a comment, or somebody made a comment about the Iraq War. I thought it was Fiber. I don't know, but maybe you can. Do you have Fiber on Skype or something? You can send him a private message. Oh, okay.
No, I don't. I should get him.
That's okay. We'll explain it sometime. We just don't want to. Oh, I think he got it. You can't say the real date, can we? I don't know. We just.
I don't know. I'm worried about certain key words. I think that the bots might pick up on and listen for. So sometimes I might just use hobo code just for the. Not that anybody even listens to our channel, but whatever.
What do you call it? Canada, China, or something? He's a little worried about the censorship. I think we all are. But anyways, I totally drag behind all these comments. So, Fiber Arwen said he walks the astral realm. Don't serve the beings there, but he doesn't serve the beings there. Fiber said he wishes he could have some kind of experience that would help him figure out what to think of this word God. And Arwen says the word and its interpretation has created great confusion and division among men. I'll have to agree with that. I think God is one of the biggest things that has created the biggest dividers among men. And then Joe's talking about drugs. Joe says drugs have a context attached. The dosage, people use them properly, or out of context, bad things happen.
I think I understand what he's saying.
And with the thing about drugs, though, I mean, it's not just like the hallucinogenics and stuff that, you know, people get so like, oh, drugs, they create an evil. But then at the same time, we go to the doctors to get these prescriptions because, you know, we want drugs. I mean, to me, it's all drugs. I mean, prescription, illegal. I'm not saying it should be all legal. I'm just saying, in a sense, you know, these cultures that use the drugs for these journeys, you know, until you understand all about it, should respect it. But see, and all of them can be abused at the same time, right?
Yes.
Arwen says
Yes.
we can chat quicker than you can read it, Queen. I know, but at the same time, you know what's really funny, Arwen, is there's nothing going on my screen except for our two avatars glowing every time we talk, and I'm staring at Clutch's avatar while he's talking, like I'm actually seeing something happen. So it's crazy.
Maybe we should go on camera. I don't know.
I didn't.
What was I going to say though? Oh, I lost.
I didn't do my hair today, so no.
I lost my train of. Oh, I was going to say I mentioned this to Arwen before on Skype, but I think it would be very interesting to interview that guy. That could be a very interesting chat. He's got a lot of. I'd like him to explain his understanding of flat Earth to you, because I think he's probably the best at that.
Okay.
But I'd like to talk about, well, like everything. He's saying interesting stuff. There's a lot to unpack there. I think it would be interesting. So if he's ever willing, I would like.
When you mentioned this morning that Arwen might come join us, the first thing that came across my mind is like, wouldn't he be asleep wherever he's at right now? And so I don't know
what time is it for him. I probably is it 8 hours? And I think it's 8 hours ahead for them.
Well, we could always do a talk earlier in the day or later in the day, or maybe even a different day. Arwen asked, Joe said, if it don't come in a syringe, I don't like it as a drugs. Arwen asked if I'd visited his channel. Yeah, Arwen, I actually used to be able to go and watch your live stream pretty often. But now that I'm in a different time zone, I moved, and it's super, super kind of later for me. So the time is just different for me now. So he said it's well before my bedtime. So he's going to be wide awake. Maybe we could plan something next week or something. Figure out a good day.
Yeah. If he's willing, I'm definitely willing. I think that would be hella interesting.
Well, we haven't had anybody join us on our new channel either, because on the other one where we were just kind of messing around and having talks, we had Teresa join us, and Big Pig, and Faith. So it'd be kind of neat, unless we want to invite the same person over again. Well, that Big Pig not understand thing you said, don't understand.
No, I think some new blood would be appreciated.
Yeah, I agree. I moved west. Yes, yes, I did. I moved to the West Coast, United States.
East Coast.
Oh, no, yeah, East Coast. Sorry. Well, if I went west all the way around the world, you know what?
Oh, now is it round like that?
That's why I laughed. I was saying, that's really funny, because if you're a flat earther, that doesn't make sense at all. And
I'm not I'm going to be clear. I'm not a flat earther. I would consider myself realm earther. I think we're in like I said before, a self-contained system made by God. I don't understand the size or shape of it, but I'm pretty positive what mainstream science is telling me is bullshit. And just 8 inches per mile squared should tell you everything you need to know, but watch a NASA video. Those are the most ridiculous things. Why haven't we been back to the moon? It's too painful to redo the process. Like, what are they talking about? It's like, there's just so many lies. It's so deep. It's so stupid. It can't be real. Space is gay.
I was waiting for something. Arwen says it's about 22-31 hours over there, so it's not that bad.
22. That's what? 18 is 6, so
30 p.m.
30, yeah. I'm not that great at Army time.
That's okay. So then my show is later for you. Yes. And usually I'm out and about on the day when that happens. Before, it was kind of convenient because your show would start pretty early in the morning for me while I was just sitting, waking up, having coffee, and I could listen. and chat and, you know, to hang out for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then had to start.
Dude, that's what it's like for me. And I've been talking to Arwen before I moved to this house, and I've been at this house for 3 years. So it's got to be at least 4 years I've been in his chat.
Wow.
And it's just become like a morning ritual. I drink coffee and I talk to these dudes who are freaking interesting. And yeah, it's just like I eat my breakfast, I drink some coffee, I just sit and listen to these guys. Yeah, it's awesome. It's how I start my day pretty much every day. So when he's not there, I'm like, oh damn. Like it's just like my day is thrown off a little.
The cornflakes with Arwen. It's breakfast. What do you think, Arwen? Why do some people get the lie and some people just can't seem to understand even the simplest globe debunk? Arwen said fiber oats, it's all about capacity to handle reality as it really is. Some people just
I think he's on to that. That's well said. I think it is something to do with that. Like I know he said he disagreed, but I think it's something to do with, and it's how he's saying it there. I agree with, because it's an ego thing. Their ego can't accept that not only have they been lied and tricked to their whole life, like they just can't. That's not a possibility in their mind, and their ego won't accept that. So they purposely lie to themselves, kind of like you were saying with like someone who's been abused or lives with an abuser, and they just they deny it. You know, they just cover it up. They make excuses. It's the same thing.
It's the path of least resistance to just hold on to what you think you already know. The most difficult thing is coming to a realization that it's why, like, and maybe
it's humbling. It's humbling to admit that you've been lied to and that you don't understand where you are, and that it's a whole other. But for me, it's been fun because not only am I learning new stuff, personally, it's brought me closer to God. Starting in 2012 for me, roughly, is not that I hadn't had experience. Like I said, I've been with God through my whole life. It's just been up and down. But at that point, when all this stuff started to click, that's when I was like when I realized we're in a self-contained, God, it's God. God is, we've been created. And then you have to, if you've been created and you're in something that's created, there has to be a creator. So for me, it's just brought me closer. I think it's been awesome.
Arwen pretty much summed up where I was about to go. I was about to make an example, but he says Stockholm syndrome. That's kind of what I was thinking with people, you know, just you have that comfort zone, and as ungreat as it can be, you don't want it to get worse. So you just stay in that comfort zone and you're too afraid to move. So that's kind of, the more you learn, the more you realize you've taken ideas for granted. The most knowledge is actually virtual and merely a belief. I kind of agree that the growing up and being humbled is also part of the testing that we're going to go through. The hard times, I can't tell you how many hard times like Bobby and I have been through, but every time we come through, we're humbled more and more, and we kind of learned more about each other, and it makes us stronger. And that's kind of I think people have to go through certain phases to wake up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the ones that don't then, like
that's that ego again. They're holding on to it too hard.
But it's interesting that they don't go through any real hardship. Allowing that, like, I don't know how to explain that. It seems that they're almost, and not that they made a deal with the devil, but almost that they did. The God of this world blesses them and allows them an easy ride. And that blessing is really a curse, and when I say God of this world, I don't mean God. I mean, you know who I mean.
But it almost seems like people that live these blessed lives, if they come out of it later in life, right? If they've lived like 100 years as an arrogant, advocate for violence and or whatever it is, whatever their
Wait, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but something popped in my mind. Jesus says, it's easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle than the rich man to go to heaven. Now, is he saying that it's because the rich man has all this? Is it the wealth itself that is making it hard for the rich man to go to heaven? Or is it the lack of trauma, lack of adversity, the lack of adversity that he has to go through that makes it so we have to be humbled, we have to be broken, or we can't find God. I think that might be what Jesus is saying there. I'm not speaking for Jesus, but I might have just understood that verse on a different way all of a sudden.
Well, to put it in the context of what we're talking about, maybe the rich man is the man that will not let go of his riches because of his ego and is fooled into thinking that those riches is what means more than anything else. I mean, people. How could you like honestly? It's just it boggles my mind to think like that. Someone would think this is all there is. There's nothing more. It's obvious. It's not create. To live that like it just blows my mind. I don't know how you can be so ignorant, willfully ignorant. It's just hard to fathom. Because it's comfortable. Ignorant bliss is so nice to sit there and not have to worry about, what's really going on in the world. Oh, it's so ugly. I don't want to look at it. Let's just shut off.
Like that. Like that guy in the Matrix movie who goes back in or wants to go back in.
Says, I know this steak isn't real. But it's like willingly wanting to be ignorant is just maybe it's a sign of weakness. I don't know. Ignorance is bliss, and then you die. Arwen said it. Joe said it's real easy to believe when you never had to go without something. The struggles make it real. That's kind of what I feel like. Yeah, the struggles is what made things real for me. And every time I come out of a struggle, I come out realizing more truths that I didn't want to realize. But it's different for everybody. For me, I think the biggest struggle was like about people. Here we go again. I'm not talking bad about every people, but people like family, my own family. Like I used to think, family is the most important thing. My mother, my father, and now I'm over here in a state with nobody around, and it is great. I will never, you know what I mean? Like my perspective on family has totally changed since I've gotten older. And
but that's wrong. Like we should have our mother. We should be taking care of our parents. I'm not saying you're wrong because I know your situation, but I'm just saying
you're gonna go Jesse Lee Peterson on me. You can't give it your mama.
But we should. But ideally, our parents should raise us properly without any trauma, and then in turn, we should watch out for them when they're old, and we should be a big family unit. I think that's the ideal way. That's what God intended.
But the hard thing about raising a child without trauma, and I'm not saying we need to traumatize our children. That's not what I'm saying.
We're pro-trauma child.
I'm just saying that, like, kids that have that Beaver Cleaver family their whole life, then they get out in the real world and people become assholes to them and they don't know how to handle it. And it's just, and then it's balance. Trauma is inevitable.
Because I know some kids who are like raised even now. Like my son has a friend who's also homeschooled, but they're very Christian, like very, and I just see a difference in him, like the way he experiences the world. It's just it might be rougher on him like later on, I think, when he
I think that's when you cross the line of sheltering a child. You don't
It's a
tell
balance.
them.
Yeah.
I kind of, Arwen made a comment about you could raise a child without trauma. But if you're honest with them, that's different. But, when you lie to them and a good college education will make you a doctor, it's like, yeah, the life doesn't get peachy because you know what I mean? They feed their children's minds with things that give them that what I call the la la land concept, and kids buy into it, and then when they get culture shock later on because they can't find a job, they don't understand. It's this is what my parents taught me. I don't understand why it's not working. Well, because it's not la la land, sweetheart.
Yeah. Exactly.
College is a racket. That's exactly right, Joe. I agree.
I'm not sending my kids to, like, if they want to go on their own and pay for it, like, I can't stop them, but I'm trying to get them into trades.
Exactly. That's exactly
and like
right.
A good plumber can make $100,000 to $500,000 if you really wanted to. Same as an electrician. Like, trades make huge money. I don't know if it's like that everywhere, but
and
like here,
security, you'll always need something from a tradesman.
That's right. Exactly. And like, they make 50, 60, 70 bucks an hour. That's huge scratch. You work at like think how much you're making a day. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Can you imagine the killing if you're the only one that knows how to do that trade because everybody else decided to go into programming?
That's how it is out here. Like, there's basically one plumber out here.
Yeah.
So he's always busy. He can pick and choose his jobs, and yeah, like, he doesn't have to fight for money.
Right. That's exactly what, I butted heads with my ex-husband about our son. He was a firm believer that, this kid needs to go to college. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to tell him? How are we going to get him to go to college? And I said, I ain't going to try to push college on him. I said, it's up to him. If he wants to go, he can go. Just like you said, he's going to have to figure out how he's going to pay for it himself. But I think college is more of the same. What's the indoctrination that's the rest
That's
of
it.
is.
That is what it is nowadays. It just is an indoctrination center.
You're purchasing a certificate. You're purchasing an associate's. You're
learning to parrot things, though. That's all. Like, they don't really teach you anything there. They just teach you how to regurgitate information.
Right. And, that's why my son isn't in college. my ex is trying to still push it on him. He got all excited because my son said something about, he'd been living in Utah for 1 year now. And now he can actually get like kind of a, what do you call it? It's like an incentive discount for the local colleges near where he lives. And he was going to take a couple classes. And I was like, what do you want to take the classes for? And he just wants to generally learn some stuff. I mean, he's not doing anything else. And he wanted to find out what this is about. And he tells my ex-husband this, and my ex-husband starts texting me. He's like, it's almost like, praise the Lord, he's becoming a doctor. And I was like, no, he's not. He doesn't get it.
Crazy.
But he's excited. And it's kind of like, I think my son just chose a happy medium. It'll be enough to get his dad off his back. But he does want to go for something. And it could be trade. I don't know. I didn't pester him about it. But let's see, more comments. Dad used to tell me the world needs ditch diggers too. That's right. Because you know what? Ain't nobody up in the office, the corner office with a view, gonna dig a ditch. And when it needs to be dug, it's too much dirty work for them. College doesn't actually prepare you for professions anymore. That's right. Which is their exclusive purpose. The job markets, however, shift too quickly for the classic education to catch up. And I still think about that video you sent me, Clutch, about the Board of Education being created to create workers, not thinkers.
Maybe you should send that one back to me. I was talking to everyone about that video just today in chat, and I couldn't find it. I found a different one, but I couldn't find that one.
Oh, that was a good video. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the interesting thing about those videos. Like sometimes you see videos and you're just filled with more questions afterwards. Like, well, how do they know this? This video, like everything made sense. Like you knew about the millions of dollars. You know, it makes sense that they pour millions of dollars into this board of education and what the board of education does. You've seen it for any of us who went through the school system. So
I wonder now, like you're talking about the job market and people going to college, but with AI coming, like,
oh
I
God.
wonder if it's going to just crush all those college kids' dreams because AI can do all those jobs now.
Hey, maybe.
Do you do you think what do you think AI is? You think it's
I can
like
tell you what it's
is it,
always been in the military. It's
go ahead.
it's always been kind of like a not forecaster, but you know, like tactical preemptive analysis. Like we had AI that would kind of simulate outcomes if we took one course of action. We'd program in 10 courses of actions, right?
Yeah.
If we bombed this area and had ground troops move in on this side, that's action one, and then change it up. And then the AI would play out a scenario with like 40 different outcomes per action. So that's
Right. And 80% of the time this would happen and
right.
80 yeah.
And then in the end, the AI would provide the military with a report of which actions would have a percentage of the highest success rate of the outcome that is desired. And it's just, that's what it does. It calculates and it does it learn and like the sci-fi movies do. I don't know. I mean, I've seen the machines, I've seen the outcomes change from time to time, and every aspect is programmed in: weather, population, days of the week. I mean, you know, holidays, Ramadan.
See, like, I don't know if that's AI, but it's when you're putting in input, it's different. When it can do it on its own, that's true AI. You know, like the ones you can talk to and you don't have to give them. I don't know if that exists yet, but that creeps me out. I wonder what it could be.
I mean, because these are jobs that people used to do, and now computers are doing it. So, you know, can it? Or are you talking about can it start thinking independently?
Yeah, like I'm thinking. Well, even like, you know who Jack Parsons is, right?
Yeah, you've
Yeah, and
suggested
like
him to me
what
before.
they did in the desert, and they brought some. Apparently, they opened some portals and they brought some entities in, and I just wonder if like AI is like one of those type of entities that's like giving us information, but it might not be for our benefit.
Yeah. Let's see here. Fiber said, I'm sorry, I was listening. I'm also looking at the comments. Um, Pretty soon, AI will be making all decisions because people will trust computers' ability to make decisions more than they trust themselves. That's exactly right, Fiber. In fact, I think it's another reason why when you had mentioned about breaking down the family unit, it would be ideal to own people as cattle if they could break family units apart, have the government and computers make the decisions for people, every people, including their children. You know, if a parent doesn't interfere with, you know, an institution wanting to take a child, teach them to do this and make them do that forever and inject them with whatever, then what better way to break a family apart than to create that broken family unit? Am I rambling? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I understand.
And
I'm just considering.
real AI is human assembled because computers don't develop themselves naturally like humans. That's right. In fact, that's a lot of the AI programs we had were created. We had
Right. So once they start self-replicating, then
right.
that's true AI.
That's true. They use it for robotics. The new Oracle. Okay, we're caught up in the chat. it is a scary thought. And, because the problem with AI is there's just that lack of humanity, but there's the argument that humanity is what creates a lot of the problems we have, or the lack of humanity. Inhumanity.
Yeah.
I don't know. We have a lot of, I believe in preemptive programming, and we have a lot of it in movies and shows, and you see the things that they're putting out there, and they put it out as a thriller movie when they make these sci-fi movies about AI taking over the world. Why does it scare you? Because it could, it's like it could happen.
It's wild when you watch old shows back and you see that preemptive, like you're like, oh, like it's so obvious now. You just didn't see it at the time.
Oh yeah. That's so funny you said that. Just as you said old movies and shows, Joe's comment starts with, I see Terminator franchise becoming reality, dudes. Will be phased out for soy-based life form. Here we go with Soylent Green. And when you said that and I read his comment, the first thing I thought of was a video they had of the police force started using these like robotic dogs.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, and they also started using drones to go into houses where a fugitive's supposed to be. You know how they used to raid houses and cops would like kick in the door? Now they don't even do that. They send a drone in now, and the drone initiates the arrest. It's crazy. That's
so
where
nice.
we're at. Okay. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but Fiber Oat says, what is Soylent Green? I think that's that movie about...
You never seen Soylent Green, Fiber? Holy.
Okay, to be fair, Soylent Green is one of the movies that's on my list to see because I haven't seen it either.
It's not that great a movie. Like, I'm going to be honest, it's kind of drags, but you should watch it. Just one of those truther movies.
Yeah.
Has he seen They Live? I don't know if I asked him that before.
They Live?
Yeah, Fiber. Have you seen They Live?
Let's see. Drone tech is being perfect. Have I seen They Live? Yeah. Oh yeah, with the sunglasses that expose the obey signs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. In fact, we used a screenshot from that movie on one of our other videos.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With a real black man, please stand up. Remember that? I remember the title of it.
We had some pretty like awesome, like not racist, just like I don't know.
We're pretty awesome racists.
We're awesome racist people with our wasn't our last one like Dorothy like doing blackface or something?
Judy Garland painted up like a black girl. Oh my god, dude. Okay, awesome. I'm just gonna tell you this. I'm sorry it's left field, but when I told you I just watched the movie Gone with the Wind for the first time, right? And when you see it, you'll see. Maybe you'll pick this up. I don't know. Maybe it's me, but I get the feel that this movie was made in support of the Southerners who wanted the slaves, because the whole movie they're casually rephrasing. They're casually.
That's all bullshit, right?
Huh?
That Civil War story you've been told is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't about that. And like there wasn't really slaves the way we think about it, and it wasn't white men doing it. And the North had slaves, if you want to call it that too. They were the Irish, and they were called indentured servants, right?
Right.
Like it's the same thing. And it's the antebellum South. And only the very rich had actual slaves, but a lot of them like worked the land with them. It wasn't what you think. And there wasn't white people driving the slave trade. It was a lot of African and Arab people, if you want to be truthful about it. So I just like to
wait till you see the movie. It's just
okay. I gotta watch it now.
I'll watch
every
other phrase they're talking about the slaves, quote unquote, as darkies. I was like, wow,
those damn darkies.
Yeah, you are. And then one guy was like, well, we ought to use darkies more than prisoners because they don't treat them prisoners good. And
It's crazy when you hear like I heard we watched Monster Squad a little while ago, and they said the word fag in it, and it was like one kid called another kid a fag, and I was like, just like, holy shit, like I can't believe you said that, like it's just crazy the things you hear in old stuff.
Dude, when I was in junior high and high school, those were just normal words. I mean,
but it didn't, like, it wasn't really.
It wasn't an insult. We were just.
It was an insult, but it wasn't like an insult to degrade gay people. It was more like if you were called a fag, you were just lame. That's what it meant. You were just like, at least for us.
Well, if I'm honest, I thought that it was fags that turned fag into a fag word.
I don't know. Could be.
I don't know. That's what I was told by a friend who is part of that community.
Fag?
Yeah. It was a fag that told me that it was fags that made fag a faggy word.
And like, didn't it originally just mean sticks or something, or a bundle of sticks?
I don't know, but Sheila calls when she talks about her cigarettes, she calls it a fag.
Yeah. Because it's a stick. That's right, because it's a stick, a dart.
I'm gonna have a fag. I'm like, what?
Yeah, you don't want to bum a fag there. Can I bum a fag?
In my mouth. Oh no. Oh, where are we?
we have lost the plot here.
Oh, I think we did. Okay. I can't even read the comments now. I'm laughing too hard. You want off color, watch a 70s black movie like Shaft. Oh no, I know, right?
Even Archie Bunker.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Oh, that guy.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. I think that was.
But why can't we like it's so stupid. You should be able to make fun of each other, and it's not that big a deal. And sometimes stereotypes come into effect because there's some truth to it. And like we just should not be so sensitive. I'm not saying Archie had all the right. Like, yeah, we got to be a little accommodating, but
you know what we used to do? Okay, when I was in high school, when we used to have our lunch break, we didn't go outside. We didn't sit in the cafeteria. We grabbed our food. We went up to our lockers and we sat in front of our lockers on the floor in the hallway. Yeah, and guess what we did? Guess what we did? We would You're on the right track. We would literally sit there and rag on each other. We'd rag on the Mexican kid across the hallway, and then the black kids be like, "Do you even know your daddy?" And just all these just racist, and the whole time we're all laughing and having a good time. Nobody got offended. When the lunch bell rang and it was time to go back to class, we were all friends anyways. I mean, dude,
I really think like in the 90s, racism was pretty much like, I don't even really believe in isms, but like there was no, like it wasn't a thing. You were black. Okay. Like, fuck, who cares? Like you're black. Yeah. Like it wasn't an issue. Like you could just do whatever. And it didn't matter. I don't know how it changed again. Like, it became the 60s again.
Dude, I think it's part of the system. The education system is implementing that kind of thought into our kids. We could never sit in the hall and rag on each other with racist jokes now like we used to. There's no way. All those kids would be expelled. I mean, done from every school in the county. It would be over. It's just the culture that they're pushing out, and to me it's more fear porn. I mean, or don't be. You can't joke with your friend about being black, because he'll get offended. No, he won't. Not if he's like a good friend.
He is black.
Yeah, you don't think?
I think he knows.
It's like Dave Chappelle when he thought he was the white KKK guy.
Oh, favorite. That's one of my favorite ones of all time.
Right? He's like.
I just showed Troy that the other day.
Hold on. Oh my God. They're talking, and description makes me think of Gates buying up all the land, and Pretty interested in the They Live movie. Yeah, Fiber, watch They Live. That's a great movie. After this,
Yeah, you got to watch that, Fibros.
we all need a movie night after this, Joe, because I've got to watch some.
Have you watched Dr. Strangelove ever?
Have I what?
Watch Dr. Strangelove?
No.
Oh, dude, watch that one. That's you were watching old movies. It's from the 60s. That dude we talked about last talk, George Scott or whatever his name was. That
Scott.
He's in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dr. Strangelove?
Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb. That's the whole title. It's made by Stanley Kubrick. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no way.
My
husband would have known that movie. Maybe he does.
Dude, it's awesome.
He knows it. He said he does know it.
Yeah. Has he watched it?
Babe, have you watched it before? Yeah, it's a great movie. He said it's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch it.
Said it, love. I don't know why I thought you said strange glove. I was like,
I might have. I say weird shit sometimes.
I think Arwen said he goes, Dr. Strange Glove. I think you mean
I did probably say that. So I stand corrected. I didn't mean to say that. It's Strange Love.
I'm out of the hole. Thank God. I thought I was the one that was
sorry,
like,
guys.
oh my God, I'm an idiot. Oh. Okay.
My
Peter
bad.
Sellers. He said Peter Sellers.
Yeah, he's in that.
Okay.
He plays 3 parts in that movie.
What?
Peter Sellers
plays just dressing up as different people?
Yeah, he's Dr. Strangelove. He's the president, and I think he's someone else too. I can't remember. I have to go back and watch, but I'm pretty sure he's 3.
I think tonight's agenda was supposed to be Citizen Kane. For movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be allegory to Rockefeller, right?
Is it? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I have no idea.
Pretty sure it's like about him, but it's like a different name kind of thing. But it's like about a guy who gets super rich, becomes a tycoon, has his own paper, and blah blah blah.
No shit.
I'm pretty sure.
We'll look it up. I'll look it up, and maybe we'll watch it.
It's very good.
Arwen says Dr. Strangelove is absolutely mind-blowing, but also dreadfully boring. Be wary. Be warned. I haven't been able to finish.
I find it that boring. I kind of liked it, but it's the mood, right? It depends what mood you are in when you watch a movie. Because I've watched movies and hated them, and then gone back later and watched it and loved it. So I find Soylent Green incredibly boring, to be honest. It's one that you should watch, but I find that one, like, it drags. It really drags.
We'll find out. If I send you a text in all cap letters that says, I want 2 hours of my life back, you're going to know.
No. You'll love it.
Joe says, instead of watching the media everyone gets all spun off on, I watch old movies at night. Yeah, that's kind of what Bobby and I are doing.
That's our club too, yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my boy, we either watch old westerns or just old black and white movies. Pretty much nothing new. Like once in a while we'll put on something newish, but if it has any stupid politics or identity bullshit in it, we just shut it off. But
that's the problem with new movies, though. They keep sliding in that little bit of, kind of like what we were joking about. They're like characters, white characters are now black people, and I just want, like you said, to make
Trudeau should get a role in one of those movies.
Trudeau what?
He should get a role in one of those movies because he plays blackface so well.
No, he needs to be the slave in Roots as a white guy. They need to change that around. I still think we should
remember talking about that.
That is a freaking fantastic idea.
It is a good idea.
We should. I started seeing all these like old movies that Bobby looks at like 80s and 90s videos, and I was like, oh, that was the song to this movie and that movie, and what was that? That movie with Whoopi Goldberg dressed up as a nun.
Sister Act.
Yes, we need that. Only we're gonna have Britney Spears be the nun now. And
No, I like our roots idea way better. All white cast. All white cast.
I guess
the slave owners
address the Irish slavery problem.
The slave owners will be black and the slaves will be white. We'll just flip the whole script. I love it.
Morgan Freeman be the slave owner.
Oh, fuck, that would be so good. No, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, he's like, work, motherfucker. What are we talking about?
Oh God, that's so good.
Okay.
Oh, that's so cool. We got to end it right there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys. Oh my God, Arwen, Fiber.
Yeah, thanks for coming around.
Hung out with us the whole time. We just rambled on, but that was great. So
awesome, cool. Thanks, guys.
Again next week.
Yeah, and I'll talk to Arwen, see if he'd be willing to talk to us. I don't know. Now that he's heard our show, he might not ever want to be with us again.
Yeah, just patent it by letting you guys know. We talk about books too, so it's like a book review, movie critic, whatever.
Like the whole reason Speakeasy News is just like an underground club where you can just say whatever the hell you want to say. That was the point of what we were kind of going for.
We talk about fags, whatever. All right. I'll talk to you guys next week then.
Later.
Bye.